Welcome everyone to week number, what is it now, 4
It's
of
4, it's week 4.
Runeterra Academy Junior Division. I am Tiger. I'm here with Miles David once again. We're gonna be on camera today. This exciting new thing. I'm not sure which side Miles is on, but this,
I'm on the
hopefully
right
good
I'm on the
matchup.
right side, don't worry. Yeah, I'm on the right side, don't worry about it. It's nice to see your face, Tiger, I'm just gonna say that. Anyway,
Nice
we
to
have an
see
interesting
your
matchup
face.
today, man.
We got the Air Esports Revival on the blue side to start out with. Omega Gaming Unknown on the red side. Both these teams at 2-1, so this is going to be an important matchup going into playoff seeding.
Oh, yeah, definitely, especially since these 2 teams are so close together, so I'm kinda expecting another 3-game series because, especially for teams close in the standing, they're basically 1 game apart where I think Air Esports were just, a lot cleaner in the way they played, I believe. Yeah, it was Air Esports that has a 5-3 scoreline when it comes to games, and Omega Gaming Unknown has a 4-4.
Hmm.
So still very close between these 2 teams. So we should expect definitely a close series between these 2, and we are into draft already. So Tiger, from the changes in the meta, what do you think we should expect?
Uh, I'm having a hard time getting a good read on the meta right now because solo queue is just being flooded by Vex. So
That's fair. All
since
right,
we
that's
don't
fair.
have Vex enabled for the competitive just yet, I think that we'll probably be seeing a lot of things that are similar to what we saw on patch 11.18.
That's
At
true.
least until the teams can get a little bit more of a read competitively on the situation, or maybe they've been able to get some scrims in. But with the substitution in here today for Air Esports Revival in the top lane, it's going to be interesting. And it's first pick Camille, so that
I
tells me
mean,
that we should be expecting some fighting going on up there.
oh yeah, definitely. That's a very good read, Tiger. Because I mean, to be fair, if it's your sub, make sure that your sub is playing as comfortably as possible. Camille will be chosen one of the premier carry top laners who can split push, can team fight. She can basically do everything, honestly. If you play her right, so definitely a good pick for the player that has basically the highest rank in the lobby right now, I believe, Diamond 4. While the rest are in platinum, so should be interesting to see how Air Esports Revival decides to change their strategy coming into this game. Uh, and well, Omega Gaming Unknown, they respond by taking away the Galio and the Galio, making sure that that combo isn't available for Air Esports Survival to use, and going in for the cannon to have a bit of a lane bully play there in the top lane, just so that Camille can't get too far ahead.
Yeah, Kennen versus Camille should be a very fun matchup. I think that we should be seeing a lot of trading going on up there. And it's going to be really early that kill threat starts to develop, but especially once they hit level 6, it's going to
Hmm.
be a lot of back and forth, I expect. Now, Camille might be taking the no flash route and having the ignite teleport that we've been seeing some of. So I might say that we have a slight edge going towards you die for Air Esports Revival in the top lane. But with all these other picks coming in, it could be swayed. I mean, Jarvan versus Kha'Zix is a pretty spicy
Uh,
matchup as well.
that's a classic mashup. But you know what? This is the first Kha'Zix that's being picked right now in junior. So we'll see how Ryuji does with it. Of course, Kha'Zix has only been banned at this point, so it'll be super exciting to see how he'll be able to play this pick, especially if he manages to cause a lot of chaos in the top side. Cannon, while he can easily bully Camille with his extended range, if he gets caught under turret or if he's caught overextending, it'll be real easy for Camille and Kha'Zix to pop him. So he'll have to play the lane super well, and if he goes aggro, he has to make sure that his jungler is up there ready for a counter gank just in case it happens, because that's definitely a vulnerable point in Omega Gaming Unknown's lineup right now.
Yeah, another thing that I like is that the Galio not only takes away Galio from the comp of Air Esports Revival, but that's also a flex pick between mid and support, depending on if both players know how to play the champ. So I think that with Omega Gaming being on the red side here, the Galio should be a very effective draft tool to be able to hold towards last pick. They should pick an AD carry here and then leave that ambiguous. Maybe be able to get a counter pick in the mid lane.
Yeah, I agree. I think AD carry is possibly the best one to go for. Galio support hasn't been seen much. And honestly, Galio is good enough, especially with the combo that we've seen before of Galio and Jarvan. They have just have so much CC to lock down any mid laner that Esports Revival might pick. If they decide to go for a mage, they might be having a lot of problems. And look at all the CC that Mega Gaming Unknown has. If you get touched, you basically just get stuck in one place forever. You can just read a book or something.
Yeah, but I do think that it's a little bit low damage so far from Omega Gaming. I mean, Jin's got a decent amount of burst going on, but if you get a tanky Camille build, Leona having pressed W, all that CC doesn't
Ooh,
really mean all that much if you're not able to actually follow through and finish off the kill. Now, I like the Xayah pick here
I
because
do too. I do
a
too.
lot of dive coming through from Air Esports Revival, and Xayah having the self peel on the Featherstorm is going to mean a lot. Being able to go immune for just a second, and then have the root on the after part, and then Rise with all that wave clear should be a good tool to secure the late game, depending on what the matchup is.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting pull with our Esports Survival. It almost feels like they're the ones counter picking against the comp that Omega Gaming Unknown is putting together, which is kind of weird when it comes to blue side, but there we go. I mean, they do have a definitely a very usable comp. It's not really leaning one way or the other. I think at best it could be a 1-3, it could even be a 1-3-1 with Leona, Saya and Kha'Zix just being a nuisance in the mid lane while Rise and Camille are split pushing on the side lane. On the other side, though, we have a very CC heavy bot lane, so has to be careful. That Morgana pick against Leona is definitely a skill matchup, so we'll be seeing possibly some interesting 2v2s down there in the bot lane, especially with all the CC he has. There's a lot of kill potential on Omega Gaming Unknown side. So Air Esports Survival, although Saya does have the self peel, they kind of have to make sure they're careful because she can only use it once, and even then, up until level 6 you won't have it. So if they don't play the early game well enough, they could just find themselves getting run over again and again by this Jin and Morgana.
Yeah, and to your point there, with it being a skill matchup, I think that that means that not only is it the skill of the duo lanes that matters, but how much outside influence is going to come in. I mean, when you've got a Galio on the map, uh, that's a global. You've got Rise is a semi-global. You've got teleports coming in from the top lane. You got junglers showing up at your doorstep. And this is a bot lane where I feel like we could see a lot of action going on. And I could be wrong because like all the lanes are potential areas where action could be coming in. But I feel like especially the bot lane is where I expect to see the majority of the early game action going on.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at the predictions right now of who people think is gonna end up winning game one, and there are a lot of Omega Gaming Unknown believers right now, with them topping the score, with them topping the voting poll, which is interesting, because when it comes to statistics, it's the Air Revival Esports have Omega beat because they have a lot of their players in the top 10, top 5. When it just comes to pure stats alone, especially three of them, Ryuji, Economical, are both in the top 5 at the moment when it comes to stats. So I would honestly just from that alone, I would favor Air Esports, but I do really also like the composition coming out from Omega Gaming because they have a lot of options, right? Especially when it comes to sieges or when it comes to team fights, they basically have to press R in order to win. But the concern is, as you said, they don't really have a consistent damage threat.
Yeah, I'm checking through the logs to see if we have any canon gameplay so far, because that's kind of a pick that was very popular a couple seasons back, but I feel like has been absent a little bit in competitive for a while, and I really want to see how effectively it can be used. I mean, with the slicing maelstrom coming through, you can stun entire team in the beginning of
Yeah.
the fight, and that can really change the dynamic of how it's going to look. But I think that Kennen is a pick where you have to play it well, or else it's going to look really bad.
Yeah, I mean honestly, it's either you're baiting your entire team, right? If you're Kennen, or you come in with the amazing five flank and just get the 5-man slicing maelstrom off the bat. So I'm gonna be looking towards Eyepatch Mickey to see how he'll be able to play this pick in the mid game. Whether he will have the patience to go full Naguri, or if he goes in too soon and just gets blown up and ends up being kind of useless for his team. That'll be the dynamic of the team fight, right? Then the team ends up fighting a 4v5 and they end up losing because, well, there's just a lot more sustained damage threat coming out from the side of Air Revival Esports.
Well, Miles, who do you think's got the best chance of getting the early advantage here? I think that that's going to play a big role in how this game's turning out.
Oh, it looks like the predictions switch. It's now Air Esports, Air Esports Revival who has the big swing when it comes to votes right now.
You've
Hard to
swayed
say.
the map.
Hard to say in the early game. I think I would early game I would give it to Omega, but they have to close it out fast. Otherwise, they will just get out sustained in the late game. So
All right. Well, we're going to go into a short intermission, and on the other side, we're going to have game number 1 of Air Esports Revival versus Omega Gaming Unknown. Welcome to the Rift, everyone. It's time for game number one. On the blue side, we've got Air Esports Revival, and on the red side, we've got Omega Gaming Unknown. And it looks like we've got a little bit of an invade coming in.
Yeah, Kennen had to dash away. It means he won't have his Q for the lane, which could end up being a problem since he won't be able to bully View as much there in the top lane. But yeah, the fact that that's already pretty much a win for the side for the side of Air Revival since they got that early advantage for Kimi on the top lane. But we'll see how they'll be able to take that advantage. It's all about those little things, Tiger, especially in the early game to see who's gonna end up on top, who's going to win out, and a lot of those little things could dictate the pace of the lane and the rest of the game as well. So we'll see how that pans out. But for now, both junglers are starting on opposite sides of the map, so probably no early action as much. Unless Ryuji decides to go for a cheese gank or the Jarvan as well, because Delilah on the Jarvan's one of those champions that can go for a level 2 gank extremely easily, go for a cheese onto the enemy champion. But we'll see where it goes.
And maybe swing by the top lane to make sure that Eye Patch Mickey going to get to level 2 on that cannon, be able to level the shuriken. But we'll see if anything happens here. I would expect maybe no cheese ganks coming out, but it should be like 3 or 4 camps before the first ganks start coming in. I think should be
Yep.
pretty.
Looks like it, but we already have a bit of action in the bot lane. As Core and Oreo Murderer try to go at each other. We always like to see some supportal combat.
Hmm.
And yeah, there we go. Already in the top lane. Getting pushed in is the cannon because he doesn't have his Q in order to keep Camille at bay. So might have a bit of a hard time right now if he gets pushed in. Plus the jungler is nowhere nearby. So threatening a dive could be threatened. Usually you don't dive a cannon, but since he's not at level 6, can be something to look towards as the bot lane. Well, no complete advantage yet. They might go for a level 2 cheese. Unless that happens, well, it should be a nice simple early game as
Yeah. It's like Core's waiting to find a Zenith Blade to go off of, but the ADC is having the health bar trades about even, not
mhm.
ready to start an all in just yet. I did want to mention that Jersum took exhaust instead of heal. So this is going to lead to an interesting situation where if the bot lanes get low, for the side of Air Esports Revival, you may need to
Oh,
flash when they possibly healed. Now we got top lane gank coming in, forced flash from Eye Patch Mickey, but he to be fine for the moment.
yeah, that could end up being problematic for him as the wave is being pushed in top lane. That means it's getting stacked. Ryuji can decide to just go for it. Wait, there's just a 1v1 here in the
Demo
mid
going
lane.
all in.
Oh no!
Dominic hanging on
Oh,
as the spell flux going to be able to find the solo kill. Delilah not in time with the gank. So that's first blood going over to Air Esports Revival.
yeah, first blood, and that's a solo kill as well. Jarvan has to be careful. The bot lane is moving up, but teleport is up here. This is a 4v2 if it breaks out, though, as the priority in the bot lane leads up to this play being made right now in the jungle, and that means, well, it's gonna be a double scuttle, it seems, for the side of Air Revival right now. Very commanding early game from them so far. Even though it hasn't resulted in that big of a lead yet, you can feel the map control they're exerting over Summoner's Rift at the moment.
Yeah, it hasn't gotten the gold lead of the big lead yet, but with that extra
Oh
map,
wait, again.
well, it looks like we've got the root combination coming down on the core. Be all right. But now Demo going to be in trouble. Going to have to flash, and
Oh,
the
it's up.
Justice Punch doesn't get him out. Hook shot going to stop him on the way out. Ryuji picking up the kill in the mid lane.
Oh yeah, that's unfortunate. Nemo getting killed again. That's twice already that the Galio was taken down. And again, it was just because the priority Camille exerted over there in the top lane. Kennen couldn't bully her early, and he was immediately pushed into the tower, meaning that he couldn't really counter any play that was going down there in the mid lane. Unfortunately, Nemo didn't respect it, and it might
And
end up with Eyepatch Mickey going down too. This might end up being a complete disaster for an early game.
Ignite taking down, and
Ah.
the hook shot lands. View picking up a kill in the top lane. That's 3-0 so far in favor of Air Esports Revival.
Wow, Air Esports absolutely dominating at the moment, and it doesn't look like they're gonna be stopping anytime soon. Especially since talking about the scaling earlier, you never want to see the team with the scaling advantage win out on the early game because That means that basically Omega will end up getting shut out very soon. But their shining light still pretty much can be the bot lane where they could try to find something. Jarvan is nearby, and
Ooh,
if
good.
they're able to cast off the opportunity, I patch making on now. This is
Yeah, it's going to be a Hextech ultimatum, locking him down, no way out. Ryuji picking up another kill, 2-0. Now it looks like a bot lane gank developing. Delilah is here, King Civil trying to walk forward. Core going for the Zenith.
oh
Interrupted though with the flag and drag. Now King Civil dropping pretty low here, gonna flash. Ignite takes down, and it's 1-for-1 so far. Teleport coming in from Economical. Jersim going to be pretty low here. Double kill for Delilah, but now can Economical clean it up? It looks like he doesn't want to go forward any further, so it's 2-for-1 in the bot lane in favor of Omega Gaming Unknown.
oh
Oh,
no.
eye patch,
Oh no.
you're in trouble.
Oh
You can just
this
walk straight up to him under the tower. Bew going to be here as well. The shurikens go down, but there's no way out for this one. Eye patch Mickey falls once again.
Man, the solo lanes have just collapsed for the side of Omega right now. Unfortunately, they were able to get such a big advantage for themselves. At least they're able to get the dragon, but it feels like, if you're if you're air revival, you're fine with the game extending and you don't get the early dragons. It's absolutely fine for you, especially since you die is absolute menace right now. You want to give this guy as much gold as possible so he can start absolutely destroying. And here
Oh,
comes round
don't
number
tell me
three.
that happen again.
Round
No.
number three.
Oh,
Oh,
no. Ryuji, stop bullying eye patch Mickey.
oh, it hurt. It hurts so much, Tiger. As
Wow.
a top laner myself, that's absolutely my worst nightmare. The enemy jungler's right there. Your jungler can't really path towards top lane. There's really nothing you can do if you fall behind. And
Where's the
this all happened because Kennen wasn't able to start Q. Can you imagine that? It's just these small advantages that really take over and just combine to form such a big edge for Air Revival at the moment. And
Ooh, here comes
economical.
lane? It's going to be a cataclysm economical trying to
Oh,
warp out, and he's going to be able to do so with just a sliver of HP, and the cataclysm is not able to hold on to the rise.
wow. He was one auto attack away from dying, but the Cataclysm prevented Galio from getting in auto attack in. That's so unfortunate.
Yeah, maybe it was a situation where the coordination wasn't quite right because the
I
heroic end
mean,
available, so I don't see why you couldn't
I
just
think it's just
ult
kind of
in
unlucky.
there.
I think it's just kind of unlucky, honestly. That was a
Yeah,
very unlucky moment.
maybe he thought it would have been a kill either way and didn't want to drop ult, but whatever the case, a clever escape from economical.
Yeah, at least able to get out of there, not giving up kill two either to the Jarvan or to the Galio to get back into the game. But look at the Kha'Zix right now. 4-0-0. Selected they're completed. He should be finishing up his mythic item very soon. Just almost 9 minutes into the game. This Kha'Zix is so
Yeah,
far ahead, and it looks like he's just gonna go for round four over there in the top lane once he gets this Rift Herald, and you can just go for a gank up there, drop the Rift Herald, destroy, get the first tower, and suddenly Dai and Kha'Zix are just so far ahead out of anyone else in the map.
I'm actually not sure that I agree with that because the gold value that killing someone repeatedly gives goes down periodically, and right now Delilah has like a 4 camp
I meant
advantage.
because they get the plates, Tiger.
Oh, yeah, the plates will give some benefit, but the CS is close. Now it's going to be a View die setting
Oh,
up another
come
gank
on.
in the top lane. Ryuji jumps in, picks up another kill, going unstoppable. Now Core
I Yeah, that's
will
a
look.
Rift Herald. It probably will go down, and that's all those plates going over to the Camille. Absolute nightmare at the moment, as this Camille is going to be very rich and will complete her Triforce very soon. So things just
Yeah.
getting worse and worse for Omega.
Ooh. Looks like the both
Oh
junglers
wait,
on
wait.
the mid. Looks like Delilah with early advantage on this one. The
Oh,
Cataclysm comes
the
in, flash
flash.
for flash. Ryuji trying to get away, but
Oh,
it's going to be Beer used to shut down the bug. Now it's going to be the bot lane 2v2
oh,
setup. No Blade Caller coming through, and Oreo
fighting.
picks up the first kill. Here comes the Deadly Flourish to set up the root.
Oh,
Core trying to walk forward, getting the stun, but it's going to be Dark Binding, and that should do it for Core. Core trying to survive with the Eclipse. way out, burning down one more auto attack. It's a double for Oreo Murderer in the bot lane.
I mean, ideally, it would have been given to King Civil, but definitely you're still winning out there on that trade, especially winning out on the 2v2. And definitely, Omega need that right now. They need to get back the goal. They need to get back some form of. They need to get some way back in the game and through the bot lane, as we said earlier. That's the shining light for them, and that's what they really need to play towards at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, Eye Patch Mickey is probably wanting to like rip a hole through his monitor right now, but pretty much everywhere on the else on the map, it's a very close game. Like even in the top lane, the CS gap isn't that big, and like it's just 1 kill and 5 assists, and 2 plates so far for Bu Die. So
I
like it's
mean,
not that bad.
that's a really big gold gap, honestly. Imagine each kill being around 13 CS.
Okay, fair enough. It's a pretty big gold lead in the top
Oh
lane, but
wait, here's
elsewhere,
Delilah going for something.
Lila's trying to set up a fight. Jersom going to be forced to run away, but now it's going to be turned around. Economicals here. Delilah able to
Oh,
get out with the second drag, but here comes the Realm Warp. Demo picking up the first kill of the fight, but it's low health bars on the other side. Ryuji trying to finish off Demo will be able to do so, dropping about 200 HP himself, though. King Civil picking
uh,
up economical. It's a 3v3. The health bars are low once again. Teleport coming in
oh,
on the flag. Now it's going to be double kill for King Civil, and this is turned entirely in favor of Omega Gaming Unknown as they pick up the ace.
what an outplay by Delilah, getting the flag and drag, stunning them long enough for them to get bursted down by King Civil and buying enough time for Eyepatch Mickey to teleport in, and they end up winning the fight and the dragon. So suddenly, the lead that was there for the side of Air Revival, it suddenly got dissipated just like that, and now it's Omega Gaming Unknown in the lead, somehow managing to turn this disastrous early game around just with some clutch team fighting. And we definitely have to shout out Delilah, King Seville, and Oreo Murderer for living that long.
Yeah, if we get to the end of this game and it's a win for Omega Gaming Unknown, right, you got to go with the honor for the top laner for staying cool,
Yeah,
right?
stay
Like
cool.
you just got camped and died 5 times, and you're still finding ways to be useful throughout the game, and that's just a supremely difficult thing to do. Oh, King Civil here may be looking for a fight onto Jersum. He's able to go forth with the Gale Force, and now it's going to be a Feather Storm. Jersum trying to get out alive, but not going to be
Oh,
able to do so. King Civil puts in one more auto, goes on a killing spree, and that means that it's going to be an even more shift in favor of Omega Gaming Unknown.
it's amazing how well they brought this back. And suddenly a solo kill going over to King Civil on that Jin. He's gonna start bursting people down very soon, especially since there's not really a dedicated tank on the other side besides Leona. And even then, she's only super tanky while she has her eclipse. While she has her eclipse up. So something to keep in mind. This Jin can become very deadly very soon and starting to prove how much damage she can do. And that's the thing with Sire right now. When she gets to 4 items, sure, she's very much an unstoppable ADC. But until then, her only saving grace is her ult. She can't really do as much damage as the thing would imply. Ruji!
Maybe being hunted here. It looks like he's going to try to jump his way out.
Oh,
Shackles finish off the kill. Oreo Murderer picking up another one, and now Core may be out in the wrong spot on the map. Cataclysm comes down. Delilah goes dominating. Patch even trying to find himself a 1v1 in the top lane. I don't think he wants to chase this one down, but that's a couple more kills going over to Omega Gaming Unknown.
yeah, Mega Gaming Unknown just owning this bot side right now. It belongs to him, Jerome, though. He might be in a lot of trouble to flag and drag.
As you say, the flag and
Oh,
drag comes down, the deadly flourish roots him up, and then Delilah goes godlike here. This is just turning into a total whitewash in favor of Omega Game Unknown.
yeah, it's basically it's like a burger flip right now. On the other side, a man game unknown roaring back into this mid game, extremely strong off that team fight win where they managed to outplay the enemy team and just they're rolling their way to victory with it. The fact that the mid game is where they're strongest, right? This is where their competition, this is where their competition really comes line when it comes to those mid game team fights and. They're absolutely on fire right now, especially Delilah on this jungle, on this Jarvan. He's doing so much damage at the moment. It's not gonna stop anytime soon. Side of Air Revival, they kind of have to stall out. They kind of have to wait for their item spikes to hit. But right now, Omega Gaming are in the driver's seat.
Yeah, right now I just want to see a little mental reset coming through for the side of Air Esports Revival because they're still in a position where they've got a decent chance to win.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
just
yeah.
need to let the scaling come through, and if they can figure out ways to stop getting picked off, which is what has really led to problems here. And as I say that, Jersum going to be in a little bit of trouble and goes for the Featherstorm and is able to get out. It forces as well the Realm Warp from Economical. They want to finish off the Rift Herald here, but this could end up being a fight. I mean, there's not a whole lot of abilities left, like ultimates available. I guess that's still going to be enough threat that without the Galio nearby, it's going to be picked up by the Air Esports Revival, but they're
They
able to
just didn't.
get out as well.
They just didn't have position over the map at that point. Demo going behind enemy lines in dangerous territory. That was a bit risky, but well, so far ahead that well, not him, but the rest of his team is so far ahead that he can basically save him right now. Core might be end up being in trouble here.
Good taunt comes through into the Cataclysm, and the
Oh,
stopwatch is
perfect.
not going to help much. Demo picking up the kill there. It's going to be 5v4 on the map, and this is the third Drake. It's the first Infernal of the game. Infernal Soul going to be set up here, and with 5v4 on the map, I think that there's a pretty solid chance that this Drake coming up in 30 seconds is going to be possessed by the side of Omega Gaming Unknown.
Yeah, and it's not just the fact. It's not just the fact that in 30 seconds they will get position right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can't clear them because their support is down and can't really face check. If anyone else besides the Leona face check, they will just get bursted down immediately. CC to death with nothing they can do. So Leona being down for the count means they can't even dream of getting position over this Drake to try and contest it. Meaning it probably will go. That will be Soul Infernal Point going towards Omega Gaming, really turning this around. It's amazing. After that disaster from early game, I thought it was over. Okay, I patch.
Going to be flashing away, actually. Good stun with the slicing Maelstrom, and Mickey able to get out here. Ryuji still trying to find ways to snowball the lead that he got in the early game, so see if that's going to be effective. I do like going for something on the other side of the map. Didn't quite work out this time, though.
Yeah, I patch Mickey playing the weak side, weak side right now. 0-5. This has not been a good game for the Kennen, but well, the fact that he was able to get all that attention means oh wait, King Civil.
People are going to be in trouble here. The Hextech ultimate down. Ryuji picking up the kill. Ports coming in. This could be a 4v4 under the tower. Now Oreo Murderer going for the Soul Shack. Finding the stun. Going on a rampage. Picking up the kill on a You Die. That means it's a 1-for-1 so far. And I think that's going to be the end of the fight.
Yep, that is the end of fight. And well, that Camille is the most fed member on the side of Air Supply. They're at least able to get a 1-for-1. That's still a win in their books because they were able to get something and mid tower as well. So definitely ways for them to still come back into this. But if it just devolves into 5v5 team fighting again, I don't think they have either the tools or the damage to be able to win out. And the next dragon will be Infernal Soul. And if they let the enemy team get that, even their scaling might end up becoming a non factor.
Yeah, one unfortunate thing.
Oh
It
no.
looks like Eye Patch Mickey may have met his rival once again. Ryuji
Ah.
picking up another on the eye patch Mickey. I believe he's got at least 5 out of the 6 kills that have been delivered to eye patch Mickey, if not all 6 of them. Unfortunate situation for the top laner of Omega Gaming Unknown.
Yeah, that was a bit of a mistake trying to go towards the place where he doesn't really have control, especially his jungle, when he knows that the enemy team haven't recalled. They're still nearby, and he could easily get blown up. So, well, the Air Revival, despite the fact that they kind of had a horrible mid game, they're still managing to hold on by getting enough picks, by getting towers for themselves. The gold lead hasn't changed much. In fact, it's just going back and forth. But at this point, it doesn't feel like the gold league is going to matter as much when it as long. But it's going to come down to execution, right? Will Air Revival manage to get picks before a team fight breaks out? As I said before, if it's a 5v5, definitely Omega Gaming Unknown will win. So Air Revival, this time they have to be creative, right? They have to find ways to get into the enemy team, find ways to get flanks, and you definitely still have the tools to do that because they have a realm warp. They have Kazakhs who can just jump over shades of the fog of war. So we'll see if they can manage to bring this back. Both teams really giving us an entertaining game today, Tiger. I'm really impressed.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that I thought when I saw the Camille in this team comp was that there could be a potential late game idea of just having the Camille push. Unfortunately, we're not quite to the point yet where that's like a threat to end the game or anything like that, or threaten to take an inhib really even. So for the next Drake coming up, it will have to be a pick, I think, like you're saying, because if you were in a situation where Camille could just go to the top lane and threaten to take an inhib, that would be worth considering, like sending someone to, and then maybe you get a good 4v4 that's going to be allowing you to at least have a chance to steal the Drake, if not also win the fight.
Yeah, but I mean the thing with Camille split pushing too, right? The problem is if she decides to split push and go and tries to go for a fight, it's not gonna end up as a 1v1 where Camille can win out. Galio is definitely gonna be there. Demo has his ultimate up, ready to respond to any threat over to any of his team, especially the cannon. If they manage to use a combination of their ults, Camille's just dead. Absolutely. So something they really have to watch out for whether Dai will be able to split push or not is really up to them whether Demo is around or nearby to respond. And right now the dragon is gonna be up in almost 50 seconds. So I'm trying to go for picks.
Yeah, Delilah trying to find the pick onto Jersum here. Not gonna have quite enough range on the flag, and Dragon doesn't really want to commit the Cataclysm. I think it's a wise decision to hold it until a little closer to when the Drake's spawning. But we may have a Baron sneak setting up here for the side
Oh,
of
I like
Esports.
this. I like this. And the side they have no idea. They're gonna trade the Baron for the soul, it seems like. Oh no, wait, they're gonna get the Baron for free, so they managed to sneak this up. Unfortunately, oh no, Omega, they didn't do their homework over at the top side. They're just gonna give up a free Baron rather. Well, they
Yep.
will have position over the dragon, so it will be a trade. Soul for Baron. It's not completely ideal, but
It's better than.
they had to give up some tempo. Jersum.
Ooh, definitely
Uh
going into the stopwatch here. A little bit confused about that. Jerson going to have to flash away though. King Civil picks up the kill with the curtain call. Now stun comes down on the core. Eye Patch Mickey dropped to about 200 HP. Oreo Murderer low as well goes into the
oh
stopwatch.
wow.
And another one picked up here by Eye Patch Mickey. But Ryuji is here. The health bars are low. Going to be able to pick up one. Economic
Oh
trying to find a second. It's 3 versus 3, or 3 kills to 3 kills. King Civil picking up a fourth. Now Ryuji going to get stunned up here. The minions doing some damage though
oh.
to King Civil as well. The jump, the spikes go down. It's 4 kills for each side. And Eye Patch Mickey will be backing away. So just Ryuji left with the Baron buff. But the Infernal Drake's still up, so this could be Soul being stopped for the moment.
Soul being stopped for the moment is extremely huge. The fact that they decided to go for that team fight, they were able to outplay some of it, but Ryuji just coming from the backline, being the janitor on cleanup duty with the Skaziks, the perfect job for him at the moment, especially with all those low health bars on the enemy team. It was exactly the right moment that the Kazakhs needed to come in. So well played by Ryuji in that team fight. But and they're stalling. Air Revival, they're not out of this just yet. They got the Baron and they were able to stop the Infernal Soul. This is the best case scenario for them at the moment. They're still in this. There's definitely still a game to be played between these two. It's amazing how close these teams are right now, but have to call the decision making just a bit. I feel like if Omega had just decided to go for the dragon instead of trying to wipe out the enemy team, with the advantage they had, I think they could have just sealed the fate of Air Revival. But instead, they went for a fight to try and wipe out the Baron. It's a good idea in theory, of course. You try to nullify the advantage that the enemy team were able to gain for themselves, but they just got outplayed in the end with with King Civil going down, and it was just over a team fight once Ryuji got into the backline. So
Yeah,
bit
and
unfortunate, but there we go.
with that combined with the Baron, now it's a 4,500 gold lead has developed in favor of Air Esports Revival. And with the Soul stop, that means that I would argue that they're in the driver's seat at this point. Like they're pushing down mid lane with the Baron up minions. Obviously, only Baron buff still on Ryuji, but still, it's going to be it's over 5,000 gold now in favor of Air Esports Revival. So they're right in where they want to be at this point in the game.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're able to get the gold lead for themselves. Able to the Baron was so huge. The fact they were able to sneak that, get it for free, basically means that. And it was a very ballsy play, but it paid off. So that's the kind of things you really need to go for when things are desperate. And well, it paid off. Now they're in the driver's seat, as you said. Delilah just going in.
Ryuji caught out here. Flag and drag lands, and now it's going to be the follow-up. Cataclysm lands just onto core. Ryuji stays alive for the moment, but Delilah picks up the first kill of the fight. Enemy support gone. Eye Patch Mickey going forward, trying to find a slicing Maelstrom. Going to be a stun up onto Bu Die. Delilah going for the flag and drag to get into the front line. Three-man coming down from Demo. Eye Patch Mickey picking up 2 more. King Civil picks up a kill as well. Now it's going to be the Roots coming down, and the
Oh, what?
in favor of Omega Gaming Unknown. You just never know which way this fight's gonna go.
Man, Omega, they just pulled the trigger. They were not afraid of the fact that Air Revival were ahead. They still win out when it comes to the 5v5 team fight if they're able to execute properly, and execute properly they did. There wasn't really a response that Air Revival can do, especially since that was a 4v5. Rise was not there in the initial engage, and they ended up losing on that front. They had to retreat. And Eye Patch Mickey, despite the fact that he's down, he still has the slicing Maelstrom, which is so useful.
Yeah. And when you're able to just do that, and on top of that, it was a big taunt from Demo that was able to set up all the CC and set up the kills going down. And then it was just like knocking over dominoes, man. And they just found the first kill, and all of the rest of them fell in order.
Yeah, and it's a bot lane that's leading the charge when it comes to damage right now. I feel King Civil and Oreo Murder have played this game fabulously on their end. This bot lane really doing work for their team at the moment. Jin is just bursting people down. No one is really tanky enough to stand up to the amount of power Jin has. No one's really building any armor. Sure, Camille is building some right now, but the Lord Domix is already completed. He has an IE and the Gale Force as well. So this Jin is mobile, and he's gonna be pushing the hurt onto the enemy team right now. The next dragon should be coming up in just a minute, folks, and another big team fight should break out. And at that point, Air Revival, again, they have to find creative ways to be able to enable their players to either get to the backline immediately to kill King Civil, or they will end up losing the team fight in the end. There is a teleport also on Eye Patch Mickey, so they have to watch out for a flank.
Yeah, Economical right now marking the top lane has teleport as well. So it's going to be. It looks like Economical will continue to push here in the top lane, maybe going to get another tower. And we'll see if it's going to be a fight that starts out with no Rise again. That could spell trouble. I mean, that's what we saw right last time. Was a fight that started out 5v4, and it just ended up being the situation where they were able to pick out one after another, find the kills in favor of Omega Gaming Unknown. So
Demo
looks
has to go
like
back. He has to go
is
back
it
in order to.
under threat here. It looks like Economical is being somewhat effective with the split push, cracking the first inhib tower of the game. And it looks like Baron's going to be the call again. So this time it will be Infernal Soul picked up by the side of Omega Gaming Unknown, but it's going to be traded for Baron
It
potentially.
might be inhibitor too. Look at that. Economical just gonna keep split pushing again. Demo can't 1v1 this Rise at the moment. And will end up being a trade. So Baron pressure over the Infernal Soul is gonna be interesting. They're already rushing towards that Baron immediately to try and stop it, but it's going down super fast in the end, and then Air Revival will grab it as well. So trades all across the map, but I
It
think that
looks
might
like,
end up just favoring Air Revival.
I don't know. Infernal Soul's pretty big. So like Air
I've seen so
Revival
many things
has
throw with Infernal Soul, man. It's just
all right.
I get the picture. Infernal Soul definitely one of the stronger souls, and especially with the burst damage from Jin. But if he just gets killed immediately because of the pressure that Air Revival are exerting across the map at this point, then it could end up being a disaster if they're not able to get those auto attacks off. So positioning of King Civil definitely gonna beat Revival. With that said, giving soul for Baron is almost always loses. Is almost always a lose for the team that gets the Baron. So they really have to make use of this moment right now. Any later, and they could end up just getting bursted down.
All right, we'll see if they've got what it takes to push in towards the Nexus here.
Oh
Eye
no.
Patch Mickey may be a little bit far forward here. Ryuji
Oh.
going to try to catch him
Oh
out.
no.
Goes down, and it's going to be a Ryuji picking up the solo kill in the jungle. Eye Patch Mickey getting caught out once again.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Also, he just proto belted right into the forest. So, not the best way, not the most fabulous way to get out of that. Unfortunately, he had no flash. be fair, Ryuji did not have flash either, so now it's a 4v5. Now they could still end up winning this if they're able to get the CC out on time, but the pressure coming from the Baron is just so real right now.
Here comes the curtain call. It looks like it's going to tag a couple hits onto core, but that's not going to be enough to find anywhere near a kill. Ryuji almost gets hit by the dark binding there. Not going to quite land. Oreo Murderer on this Morgana has the power to set up
Cam's
a
almost
pick
up.
out of basically nowhere if he can land a dark binding, but it's going to have to happen. View die now pushing in the mid lane, going to have this tower almost picked out himself, and the hook shot comes down to get him out to safety. Now the tower in the bot lane could be next under fire. Wave coming in here. Could be trouble. It looks like it's going to be contested here by the side of
Oh, they're going in.
unknown. Now Delilah dropped pretty low, burning down. The
Oh
stun
no.
comes down, 3 on the solar flare. Heroic entrance comes in from Demo to buy some space. Now flash forward from Eyepatch Mickey going into the Zonias, and Ryuji is blown up by King Civil. This could be good for the side of Omega Gaming Unknown. They pick up a second kill. You die now in the mid lane looking for an inhib, but now Delilah going to try to turn it around on him. And here comes the Cataclysm. Demo going to be picked off by the Hextech Ultimatum. Now it's going to be 3v1, though. Economical looking to come in as well. View Die going to fall himself as King Civil has walked forward.
Oh,
One more
what?
huge overload coming from Economical. Going to be able to finish off the kill onto King Civil. It's 4 for 3 in favor of Omega Gaming Unknown, but Economical is still on the push.
Yeah, he could end up winning for his team. We'll see if he's able to 1v2. If he wins this 1v2, it's over.
Oreo looking for the soul shackles. It's a flash away from Economical, looking for an overload.
Oh,
Gonna pick up a kill. Delilah could be in trouble here as well. Economical looking to push forward once more. Eyepatch Mickey is respawned, and Economical may be thinking better of it, but it's a big outplay by the Rise.
yeah, I don't think even King Civil expected that amount of damage to come from Economical at that point. But this game turned out to become a bit of a fiesta. Omega Gaming Unknown, they had such a big advantage coming into the mid game. Unfortunately, yeah, it was just that Baron sneak that ended up costing them so much tempo, so much map control. Even though they have the Infernal Soul, they're just not able to get the team fight win. They're not able to get the immediate CC onto the target. It was really well played by Air Revival to immediately bow out when Demo was going in with the hero's entrance, and when Eyepatch Mickey decided to flash in with the Slicing Maelstrom as well. The fact that almost no one got CC'd, especially Economical, who's basically a powerhouse right now. 4 items on this Rise, he's hurting. He's gonna hurt big time, honestly. And there's no one that can really tank him right now or fight him in a straight up 1v1. So suddenly, Air Revival, their early game ended up paying off, apparently, in the end. Despite kind of throwing in the mid game, they now have all the advantage they need to close this out.
Yeah, well, we've got both of the end game buffs coming up in about a minute and a half here. So I think that it'll be interesting to see who goes for which side. The Baron push has been stalled out at least enough to keep the Nexus towers alive for the side of Omega Gaming Unknown. But it will be interesting to see if we get a fight around one of these objectives, or if the sides just split and decide to go for the opposite buff as each other. I mean, with Omega Gaming Unknown in their base, what do you think they'll do?
That's a good question, right? Right now they kind of have to defend against all the minions flooding into their base, and they can't really get position over the Elder Dragon buff. They have to be able to push out, and the problem is they don't have the wave clear at the moment. They don't really have anyone that can easily clear the waves for them to be able to go in. Meanwhile, Camille can just split push in the top lane along with Economical, go for a 1-3-1, while Kha'Zix's just soloing the Elder buff, and Ryuji is trying to go for another pick, possibly King Civil.
Good thing that Delilah's there with him. I think King Civil would have been dead there without having the jungler nearby.
And there we go. They're desperate. They have to go for it right now. Otherwise, if they give up the Elder, it's over.
All right, it looks like they're pushing forwards. Budai going to pick up the last inhib once again. Eyepatch Mickey staying nearby to make sure that it's going to be 4v4 and the waves being cleared in the base. You don't want to get backdoored here. But the Elder Dragon has been started up here by the side of Omega Gaming Unknown. And
Oh,
Oreo taking an overload, going to
going
be
in.
here. Realm Warp coming in onto the backside of the fight. Economical and Ryuji looking to find some kills. Jerson
Oh
picking up
no.
Lila, and now Economical finishes off Oreo Murderer, and into the base we go. It's going to be Eye Patch Mickey going in the 1v1. It's the Hex Tech Ultimatum. It's Eye Patch Mickey going to be finished off, as well as the Nexus Tower. Elder Drake goes down, and everything's turning up in favor of Air Esports Revival as they're going to finish off game number 1 here. King Civil looking for a kill on his way out, but Ryuji going to turn it around on him. It's an ace, and it's the game 1 going over to Air Esports Revival.
That was really well played by Esports Survival. As we said before, it was the Baron. It's the Baron Sneak that basically decided to seal the fate for the side of Omega Gaming Unknown. The fact that they didn't have any position over it. They didn't have any vision over it. They had no clue that it was a possibility. Meant that Air Esports could just go for the desperate play and make it work out. They weren't even able to get the Inferno Soul that soon either. The fact that they got stalled out. Air Revival were just able to stall out long enough for Economical to get onto the to come online, for Budai to get online as well. It didn't matter Jersum and Core. It was kind of an abysmal game for them, but the top side of Air Revival just completely just they just made all the right decisions again and again.
Yeah, and I'd argue that was played pretty well by both sides. I mean,
I
there was
agree.
always chances for Omega Gaming Unknown to come back in that one. They showed multiple times that they could come back from behind. I think that they had two fights where they were at like 5,000 plus gold deficit, and they were still able to come out on top of the fight. I mean, that game was just a coin toss either way. It could have just turned up either side, and ended up being the case that Air Esports Revival came out on top. But I'm really excited about what the rest of this series is going to have to offer.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the one thing about Air, the one thing I do will commend further Esports Survival on was their adaptability throughout the game. Right, they were able to realize what Omega Gaming Unknown wanted to do at the exact right time. Sure, it's kind of predictable what they want to do. They want to just go in immediately on you, press R, win out on the team fight, and they were able to really play around that, and allow people, just enough people, to survive and clean up. So that's the one thing I like to see from Air Esports Survival. Even though they didn't necessarily have the team comp, they still won out on the all the important team fights in the end.
Well, we're going to have to see what adaptations come through in game number 2. On the other side of this break, we're going to have game number 2 of Air Esports Revival versus Omega Gaming Unknown. Welcome back, everyone. We're about to get into the draft for game number 2. We've got Omega Gaming Unknown will be on the blue side this time around. Air Esports Revival will be switching over to the red side, and we'll see if they can carry their momentum from their game 1 victory to create a 2-0 on the series.
Yeah, that was a really great game one victory for them, but there were, it wasn't without any its flaws, of course. The teams went back and forth to each other, and it was really the bot lane of Air Revival that was kind of sus. If you know, if you get my meaning,
Yeah,
they definitely, although they were able to try kind of come back a bit in the late game, especially with some really great solar flares coming from core. They can't go collectively 1-14 again. I feel like otherwise they will just get punished.
yeah. I think that by the end of the game they were 2-17 collectively, but I mean that's not much better. But
Well, they won, all right. I bet they were the ones who were like an ultra. Oh, GG easy. You know that feeling in
yeah,
solo.
it's always that way, isn't it? But getting into the draft here, we're already seeing an adaptation from Omega Gaming Unknown. They're taking the Rise off the board, so we'll have a little bit of a different look coming out. Air Esports Revival taking away the Jarvan, so both sides looking at a power pick or two from the first game, making sure that that's not going to appear here in game number 2.
Oh yeah, definitely. The Kazakhs getting taken out as well. It seems that moving that out of Ryuji's hands definitely something to consider. But I feel like he has a lot more tools in the kit. I don't think it really was the Kazakhs that was the big problem for them at the moment. It's just the fact that I patched Mickey. He couldn't lane in the top lane. It's very unfortunate. But OG Unknown, they're just gonna grab themselves the Xingqiao, one of the power picks in the jungle right now, and continue on with it. And the jungle has jungle picks. We've seen a lot of priority for them. They're some of the most picked champions in the season at the moment. Xingqiao up there along with Jervan and Trundle, possibly the power trio. And look at this, Air Revival. They're going for a new look. It's gonna be Diana Yasuo, a combination we've seen time and time again, even in pro play. Diana can just bring everyone together with the Moonfall, and Yasuo just goes to town with them using the Last Breath. It's a very nice combo and can be executed very easily, so it's no surprise that they decided to go for that. We'll see what the response will be. Ooh.
Yeah, and I think that the Diana Yasuo combo really fits the style that we're seeing from Ryuji and Economical. So I think that those two picks together are a very solid 1-2 for that side. Now, seeing the Urgot come out from Omega Gaming Unknown, just another sort of flavor that's coming towards the top lane. And Urgot definitely after level 6 will have the potential to 1v2. So maybe
Oh.
trying to buy himself a little bit of room to avoid getting perma ganked once again in the top lane.
Yeah. And here we go. Here's the response. It's gonna end up being a Kled. Now there are two ways you fight a ranged opponent, right? You either get in real close or you outrange them. And right now it seems like Bu is going to be opting into just fighting Urgot straight up with the Kled, who can take him down. Who can easily burst the Urgot down if he gets close enough. We'll see how that 1v1 will go in the top lane. Hopefully, this time Eye Patch Mickey isn't crippled out from the start, so you can get a bit more of an even matchup up there in the top lane. Otherwise, what we saw happen before might end up happening again, because Camille Kled, they kind of it's not the same, but it's kind of similar where they want to get in your face and start beating you up.
Yeah, and we're seeing the Jin band out here as King Civil showed us some very expert play on the champion last game. But whenever I see a Braum, I think that the marksman that fits best with Braum is going to be the Lucian. So I'm really interested to see here if
I would
Omega
like to see Lucian.
Unknown are going to pick up a Lucian here. Could also be something like an Ashe. I mean, Braum has a lot of picks that go well with, but I definitely would love see the Lucian Braum combo.
Yeah, would be pretty good to see again. We haven't seen him for a long time since Lucian was a lot stronger in the solo lanes, but now got buffed in the 2v2 too. One thing I do would possibly like to see would also be something like a Draven, because of the buff that he received towards his execution, towards his ultimate, where he can start executing people straight up, which is very on point for someone with the lore as an executioner. Definitely on point in that regard. Also, combo with his brother Darius, but I would like to see it come up more often in Runeterra Academy. I'm not sure what the pick rate. Wait, let me check the pick rate for Draven right now. 1 second.
Well, it looks like it's gonna be
No one has
Sen.
picked it yet. I'm surprised considering how strong a lot of people consider him to be right now. So
It's gonna
it's not Lucian, it's
be
Senna.
yeah.
I don't like this.
I can understand like the idea behind like Senna Braum because Senna probably will take Glacial Augment and then have the same passive basically as Ash on the auto attacks. But with Braum, that means that you can try to set up a slow combination and then lock down with some CC. But I do agree that Senna a little bit more lackluster in the early game than Ash. So an interesting sort of combination here. We'll see how it ends up working out at Air Esports Revival.
I don't think it's gonna end up working out. That's the problem. But we'll see. I mean, King Civil, he showed that he can be absolutely dominant, and Senna does have increased range as the game turns out. But still, Senna right now, she did get buffed. This is gonna be farming Senna, and she did get buffed a bit. But it's still, as you said, a very underwhelming pick, especially since her passive isn't gonna be stacking as fast. So she won't be outranging towers anytime soon until maybe 40 minutes into the game, and at that point, of course, probably by that point, OG Unknown have already won the rest of the map, so possibly gonna be a non-factor. Which the thing I'm curious about, right, is that King Civil was the best player, along with King Civil and Oreo Murder were the best players. I felt like on the team last game, along with Delilah. I
Yeah.
feel like they should be given more leeway when it comes to carries,
Well, we're
since they
certainly
kind of proved themselves, you know.
yes, we're seeing Delilah for sure on a carry with the Ninja out here. Uh, what do you think about the Lissandra pickup as a counter to Yasuo?
I think it's good. Lissandra is really good at neutralizing assassins, especially close range assassins like the Yasuo. So if Demo can keep things under control in the mid lane, but hopefully he doesn't go down 0-2 again in the early game. But if he's able to keep things controlled, then Yasuo should not be able to get the kill on him and shouldn't be able to roam with Diana either. So that's the key to victory for the side of Omega right now. If they can keep Yasuo, if they can keep Economical and Ryuji in line, they should have a decent advantage going into the mid game. But eye patch Mickey, he has to show up because if because in the mid game he will be their primary damage source. It's not gonna be King Civil.
Yeah, I did want to also mention that I thought that the Alistar last pick is kind of a nice addition to the Yasuo Diana combo, where
That's
you
true.
can look for knockups and then try to get Yasuo's last breath to finish off multiple targets. That holds them in the CC for a while as well, so that the more damage can be gotten off onto the rest of the team by whoever else happens to be in the area. So you got Ash or Kled nearby, then you're all of a sudden going to have them set up to 1v1 whoever else doesn't get caught up in the knockup. So not only a good opportunity to get knockups onto carries and try to eliminate them, but you can also try to get the knockup onto the front line, get Braum and Urgot taken out of the fight, and then just eliminate the back line.
Yeah, that's true. And we'll see if it ends up working out. Like you don't really pick the Alistar for the lane right now because Braum definitely counters him. Braum usually counters any engaged champion that tries to go close onto his ADC. But the question whether Core will be able to get the roams off. If he's able to combo with Diana and Yasuo, as you said, and just go for ganks in the mid lane while Dersum just plays safe, then he should be able to get the kill. And when it comes to kill pressure, there's not really too much kill pressure in the bot lane, right? So he'll kind of be free to do so. Unless there's some really missed positions, which I don't think he'll do anymore. I've seen good stuff come from Jersum in the past, so I felt like the last game was a bit of an anomaly for him and Core. Uh, yeah,
Yeah,
Rutledge right now in chat saying what WTF, then they pick Senna with Braum. I'm also questioning it, my friend.
yeah.
I'm also questioning.
Well, whatever the case, we're going to see what they've got in mind with this duo on display during the game. So maybe it will become more apparent to us at that point. I do think that, like you're saying, Jersum is capable of a much better performance than what we saw last game. But also, I think that there's a lot of credit due to Oreo Murder coming up pretty clutch on the Morgana pick, making the 2v2 a very difficult scenario. The Black Shields were timely and avoiding a lot of CC. Uh,
Mm.
the setup with the Dark Bindings and Soul Shackles was doing a lot of damage, doing a lot of work. And I think that once that started to snowball, that became a very difficult bot lane to get out of. So this time around, fresh slate. We'll see if it changes up any based on the fact that it won't be like already a gone matchup, and they'll be able to start out. Ash Alistar is pretty strong, I think. Not going to be able to like bully Braum Senna out of lane by any, but like they have kill threat.
Yeah, they do. Of course, Ash will always have kill threat in the early game, especially against a rather weaker lane opponent like Senna. But Gearsome Core, if they're able to get kills on the bot lane, that's definitely gonna be good for them. But I'm looking at Core to just roam and for Gearsome to play safe. That's realistically the goal for them in this game. If all things are equal, them getting solo kills will be an anomaly. So if all things are equal, things just go according to plan for them. Core goes onto mid lane along with Ryuji and just combos with the Yasuo.
All right. Well, we'll be getting into a short break here, and on the other side, we'll have game number 2 of Omega Gaming Unknown versus Air Esports Revival. Welcome back on to the Rift, everyone. It's time for game number two. This time on the blue side is Omega Gaming Unknown. On the red side, Aries Sports Revival. See if we got any early game shenanigans here, but two pretty strong team comps, I think.
30
Miles, what
seconds
do you
until
got?
minions spawn.
I don't know about you, Tiger. I see one really strong team comp and the other that's all over the place.
All right, that's one way of looking at it, but I'm really interested to see what it is that Omega Gaming Unknown think that this comp is going to do. I think that there's opportunities that they can get ahead in the early game and then snowball, but I think that like you're saying, it's a lot easier to understand the team comp on the side of Aries Sports Revival.
Yeah. Basically, it's clear what they want to do. They have a clear identity of the fights that they want to be able to take. Meanwhile, on the other side, it's a bit of a mess. Do they want a team fight? Do they want to go for picks? I think going for picks from them will probably be the most viable option if they can get some control. However, judging on the past game, Omega didn't really have the best control over the map when it came to warding. So will they get the opportunity to find the picks is the biggest question, because last time they just got outplayed in that regard by their opponents. So even if they manage to do it, it'll be super good for them, but it's looking really hard on the on the execution spectrum, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I think that specifically the warding situation was an issue for Omega Gaming Unknown, where they would have one side of the map that was pretty well covered, and that would usually be whichever side Delilah was on. But then the other side of the map would just be entirely dark, and they didn't really know what was going on there. That ended up being often a situation where Eye Patch Mickey would end up going in the jungle and just getting caught out by Ryuji. So I think that if they can avoid that happening again in this game, they'll be giving themselves a better chance of making it a more even game than what we're initially thinking with the comps.
Yeah, well, the bot lane's already not looking to be very even at the moment, as Dursum and Core were able to get level 2 advantage and get the push on as well. So priority will be going to them in that regard. Well, they're going in.
Yeah, actually, a pretty good trade coming through from King Civil Jersim, almost getting stunned up with the concussive blows. Not going to quite happen, but that means that about even health is ended up traded.
It was a good response coming from Core to immediately go on to King Civil before anything more can happen. Or Murder was unfortunately not level 2 yet when that fight ended up breaking out. Guardian goes up, and the one thing King Civil has at least is a lot of sustain on his belt. So even if he gets low, he should be able to sustain up. But still, the priority going down to the bot lane means that Diano will safely be able to get the Scuttle Crab. And in the top lane though,
Yeah,
Mickey,
Mickey.
this is the laning phase you wanted last time.
Yeah, got the early level 4 to level 3 advantage and was able to take away the entire Scarl health bar. So Bew going to be forced to walk forward in order to get some CS here.
Oh, they're
iPatch
going
making
in.
for the dive, flash forward into Disdain. Delilah going to try to set up the dive as well. Scarl
Oh,
is though. Delilah taking a tower shot. Bew dies going to survive.
that was huge for Byudai. If he's able to still stay alive, he's gonna end up winning so much out of that trade, especially since two flashes were used to try and kill him, and he still managed to live. That gives such a big tempo advantage to the side of Ryuji, who can basically do what he wants across around the map right now. And right now, he is stealing away the Krugs, so should be able to get another advantage for himself in the jungle as well. So, a really huge play coming from Byu on the top lane.
Yeah, and that means that the tempo advantage is big in favor of Aries Sports Revival early in this game. Ryuji may be setting up a gank bot as well. Looks like he'll just be recalling. Could be in trouble here, actually. Delilah has vision. Gonna
Oh,
go
they
in,
saw him.
find the wind becomes lightning, and it's going to be the concussive blow set.
Oh,
Good knockup coming through from Core. Still going to be first blood going over to King Civil. And a flash away from Oreo Murder is going to keep him alive. The root comes through on the entrance with the teleport, and it's a double kill going over to King Civil.
yeah, that was unfortunate. The fact that the Ryuji decided to back on a ward there, they immediately saw him and they were able to collapse on him. The teleport came down for Lysandra to make sure nothing untoward happened. That was a really good response from Core, but they just didn't have enough damage to deal with King Civil in the back line, and Lila just managed to stall out for the ADC to get the kills in the end. So more kills going over to King Civil again in the early game. Not much has changed in that regard.
Yeah, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Eye
Oh
patch
no.
maybe setting up another trade. The disdain comes through. Pyudai, no flash on either side. And Scarl going to be called back. So Pyudai able to win out on the back end of the trade.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? The thing that's very deceptive about Kled is is the Scarl passive. Whether he comes back, if he gets slow and you still try, if he gets dismounted and she'll try to go and attack him, you're gonna end up on the losing side of the trade because he can just get a full or basically a quarter of a health bar back once he remounts, and he's doing it super effectively against this lane where it felt like he had a big disadvantage, but now he evened up, and that's the best case scenario for the Kled at this point.
Yeah, we'll see if the lane gank ends up working out here for Ryuji. It's good bear trap on a rope. Eye patch
He's
Mickey
going
trying
in.
to get around, but the joust comes through, and it's going to be a solo kill for Bu Die. Now Demo could be in trouble here as the dive comes through in the mid lane. Now
Oh,
Delilah going to try to go in for the 1v2, looking for the kill on Bu Die.
oh,
Going to be able to get it before Scarl returns. Now Ryuji going to try to trade it back. One more crescent slash going to come through, and it's going to be a 2-for-1 in the top lane in favor of Air Esports Revival.
and cool guys don't look at explosions. You see the way Ryuji backed and sent his Q out. That was really cool to watch. Not gonna lie, but yeah, there we go. Really good ambush setup by Ryuji and Byudai in the top lane. Byudai almost actually made it out of that alive, but well, the auto attack from Deliah came in, so able to get an advantage in that regard. But the problem now is the bot side. It feels like things have shifted a bit between the two teams as it's opposite sides of the map that they have advantages on at the moment. At King Seville and Oreo Murder has pretty much been a constant for the side of Omega for Omega throughout the series, and hopefully they can make the Senna pick work. The fact they gave him two kills accelerated things quite a bit. So
Yeah,
things definitely not over yet.
and I think that the soul farming has been pretty effective from King Civil as well. So I
How much
think
does he have right now?
we'll
Uh,
take a quick look. Already at 22 here, about 7.5 minutes into the game.
that's pretty low considering support Senna, but you know he's farming, so it's understandable.
We're looking for maybe a kill on the Jersum. Going to be able to at least find the root, and now Core going to be the next target, and not going to be under threat of death or anything, but big poke coming out from King Civil.
Yeah. One thing I want to direct you to though, Tiger. Look at the CS disparity in the mid lane at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, that's about
Uh,
good for.
Yasuo didn't even have his item yet. He just came back straight to Azil and Berserker's Greaves. What the hell?
Yeah, I'm not sure how Lissandra versus Yasuo is supposed to work out, but it's possible that there have been enough tornadoes coming through that
It's
it's just been
supposed
difficult for Demo to get in range. But I'm definitely needing to take a closer look at this to see exactly what's going on.
Yeah, because Lissandra is range versus Yasuo who is melee, right? So technically the advantage should be going to Lissandra. At the least, she should be able to at least equalize with the Yasuo. But it seems like economical is just too good on the pick at the moment. Eye
Impact
patch.
Mickey could be in trouble flashing away, but it's going to be a dash
Oh,
coming from Ryuji. He's going to be able to stay alive on the back end as well. It's a pick in the top lane. Now Ryuji could be in trouble, though. Delilah has showed up in time. The Crescent card going to be used on the back end of getting the first kill. Now Economical going to show up in the top lane as well. It's a party. Scarl's back going to be
so
charging in as
sorry.
well. Delilah is dove and picked off the last breath, going to finish off the kill, and Economical given a good reason to keep roaming towards that top side.
And economical. This guy, he's quiet. He doesn't show his hand too early, man. But he comes in clutch for his team with suddenly a big advantage. You know, he's not too flashy when it comes to laning phase, but then he comes out of it and suddenly what he's 30 CS up. He has all these kills and suddenly he's doing so much amounts of damage. And you have to wonder how he's able to do it, but he's able to do it time and time again. On this Yasuo, especially right now, has to be a bit careful though.
Core
Core
drop is
might be.
pretty low
Oh,
here. Going to be stunned up and hit
oh,
with the Dawning Shadow. King Civil going on a
oh
killing.
no.
Going to find the root here on the Jersum as well, making a double kill in the bot lane, going in favor of Omega Gaming Unknown.
Yeah, this is very unfortunate for the side of Omega. Sorry, on the side of Air Revival right now. The bot lane is just not performing up to par against their opponents who have constantly had their number throughout this series. But on the flip side, for Air Revival, their top side is going extremely well. And Eye Patch Mickey again falling victim quite a bit Not as bad as last time though, which gives me a lot more hope for Omega going into this game. Especially once the Senna scales up. She does have the infinite scaling. It will just take a lot longer to get there, but if they do, then King Civil is gonna be unstoppable.
Miles, which do you favor between having a Kled that's somewhat fed and a Yasuo that's somewhat fed versus having a Senna that's giga fed?
That's a good question. How many souls does the Senna have is the big question.
How many souls? Right now, it's going to be 33.
Not too bad. I think Senna only becomes really big of a problem when she starts outranging everyone
Oh,
else on the
iPad
enemy team.
may be in trouble again, going for the disdain.
Flashing.
Flash forward into bear trap on a rope, and there's no way out from this one for iPatch Mickey. Ryuji picking up another kill. King Civil now going to look for the root. Good flash from Core, going to find the way out, but that's going
They
to be
might lose
enough
the tier 2.
up in the top lane as the Rift Herald continues to charge forward.
They're gonna end up losing the tier 2 of this top, I think. Maybe you can just tank this immediately. So that's 2 towers going down immediately over to Air Revival. And they've been constant. They've really been constant in being able to get towers for themselves, not allowing a lead to snowball from kills alone. They just able to play around the map a lot better and get advantages in that regard. And that's all the plates going down again over to Bu Dai on the top side. And we'll see how well he does with it. Jersum and Core, they're playing weak side again. They have to. They're at a lot of risk right now. But if they're able to collapse, get actually still useful when it comes to mid
Oh,
game.
big flash into the frozen tomb. And now it's going to be a 2v2 in the mid lane, breaking out View. You going to try to finish off the kill into Delilah, and Economical coming in with the last breath, but it's not going to be enough. The chain spike going to go for more damage, and it's a 1-for-1 so far. Demo
Oh,
going to try to survive, but going to be put
oh,
into the grinder. 2 for 2 as a double kill comes through on the backside for Ryuji as well. Byudai going to find Scarl coming back, but the Dawning Shadow comes through. Eyepatch Mickey going to be hit with the bear trap on a rope. Byudai going to have to walk this one out because Oreo Murderer is here. King Civil as well going to pick up the kill, going dominating on the Senna, and that's a 3-for-2 in favor of the side of Omega Gaming Unknown.
and this position over the dragon as well, which they should be able to get since the top laner Byudai is down. But we'll see. Another fight could break out here. It is going to be an Ocean Drake. We don't. It's not unknown yet, but it's gonna be definitely an impactful Drake Knight. Could be an Infernal. Could be a Mountain Soul, and either one would be good for both teams. But King Civil, it's just he's just the better ADC at in the series. It feels like, along with Oreo Maker, they're just the better bot lane so far. Last time Air Revival were able to survive by stalling out. The question is whether they'll be able to do something this time because there's a huge hole that they have to plug. They have to plug at the moment. Jersum and Core just not having a good
Ooh,
game right
Delilah
now.
for the steal, not going to be able to find it. Delilah going to be in trouble here as well, going to fall. Went for the steal, ended up getting knocked down. I think that was inevitable, but just tried to pick up the smite. Didn't happen.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. I'm not sure he really need to do that. You can just decide to give that up. It's not a game changing dragon per se, and you again lose tempo across the map, which you could be controlling on Xin Shao. So I don't really agree with going for a steal there, but oh well, it happened. So what you gonna do?
Honestly, I don't mind it that much. I don't know that I would have chosen to do that, but I don't think that they're going to lose a lot off of having the kill go over as well as the Drake. So, like, it's an opportunity to try to get a Drake back in your favor.
No,
Uh,
Tiger. The problem is Ryuji scales better a lot
all right.
better than Xin Shao, who's really strong in the early game. Don't get me wrong, but in the late game, he's not as good. He's only basically good for his ultimate in the late game and to stall out for his carries on the backside. But you know, if Ryuji gets stronger and stronger, it's just gonna be a lot of trouble. Delilah though might end up
Delilah
going
going
down again. I think
going
he's
to look
dead.
for the setup. Crescent Guard going to be used. Ryuji going to try to dash his way in with
What?
the Crescent Strike. Demo is here as well. Not going to take the claw, actually, though. Delilah dropping pretty low here. Going to be under 200 HP. The Joust comes through. Byudai going to pick up the kill. Going into the Scarl form, able to get out of the Frozen Tomb. Dawning Shadow comes through on the back end, but it's not going to be enough to find
Yeah,
the
they're
kill.
just gonna take the
One
turret.
for zero, and it looks like they're going to continue the fight. Eyepatch Mickey dropped pretty low with the last breath. Now going to be able to fall. Demo going to pick one back on the back end. It's going to be support going down. Demo is on the wrong side of the map, though. It's going to be Economical taking a tower shot. Demo going to try to find the way out. Tornado misses on an Oreo Murderer, but it's going to be a tower coming in to play here as well. Byudai going to be forced to stop the recall in order to keep the team alive. Going to be summoning the Scarl here but he needs to back off. Now King Civil finding Jersum, and Jersum has
Oh
no way of
no.
winning this fight. Going to be godlike for King Civil. Oreo Murder are going to sweep some wards, but this is finally going to be a slight respite from all the fighting.
What the heck is happening? I think they could have even taken the tower too. Oh no, Delilah caught
Delilah
again
gonna
in no
get hit
man's
by the
land.
joust, bear trap on the rope into Moonfall. That's just a combo into the kill. 100 to 0. Die picking up another kill. Oreo Murderer gonna try to defend the mid lane tower, but I don't think he's gonna find much success in that.
It's so unfortunate for Omega because even though they do have the bot diff in their favor at the moment, it feels like the rest of the map just not going too well.
And Economical going to be shut down by Demo here at the beginning of the fight. King Civil picking up another kill as well. Goes legendary. Eye Patch Mickey in trouble, going to fall, but Ryuji will pay for that with his life. That's 3-for-1 in favor of Omega Gaming Unknown, and they now have the opportunity to push towards the mid lane.
Okay, Senna's free. King Civil's out on the field right now, and it's starting to look a bit too much right now. It's not even the soul diff at the moment; it's the item diff, as the Rage Blade has been completed along with the Kraken Slayer. So this Senna is already packing a punch against a lot of targets that don't really have too much armor either. So might be a bit too hard trying to fight King Civil at the moment unless they're able to specifically target him in the fight. The question whether will be whether Oreo Murderer and the rest of his team will be able to protect him, but he should be fine, honestly. And especially when it comes to siege situations, the Senna should be winning out, especially against the Ash. But he's one pick away from dying, of course. So that's always the risk when they have basically all their eggs in the Senna basket at the moment.
Yeah, I would really like to see King Civil and Oreo Murderer swap towards the top lane right now and kind of shore up that weakness. Right now, with the inhib tower having taken some fire, they're at threat of giving up an inhib if they let a push like what just happened in the top lane happen again. So if they're able to rotate their bot lane over there and be able to hold on to that tower and maybe push towards getting some top towers themselves, that would go a long ways towards shoring up their remaining weakness that they
I
have
don't
to do.
I kind of disagree with you there. I think they shouldn't do that because they will be vulnerable from a flank. I think they should just stay in mid lane, continue to get advantages for themselves. They're not playing. They're not playing to keep eye patch making in the game. They're playing to win for themselves. So I think definitely they should stay in the mid lane, keep themselves safe, and let King Civil scale. Because that's the major point. If the Senna is already strong, but once she gets to late game, she's gonna be absolutely unstoppable. So I think the game plan here is just to keep them in mid lane, keep this Senna farming, keep getting as much advantages as possible. Then when the time comes, they can just win out on the team fight.
All right, interesting here. The Rift Herald going to be dropped and just left to finish off the tower, so I guess that will be successful. So the mid tower, all three outer towers have gone down actually in favor of Air Esports Revival.
The
Now they're
Infernal.
setting up the Infernal Drake. Core are going to start off the fight with a big pulverize, but a big
Oh,
boot onto the backline from Demo goes into their own frozen tomb. King Civil picking up the first kill of the fight, a double kill coming through as well. Economical low onto the backline, going to
oh,
be able to pick up one, pick up two, then got the shutdown onto King Civil without the
oh.
Senna in the fight. This is bound to go in favor of Air Esports Revival, but with no Yasuo, it's going to be up to Die to turn this one around. Delilah able to pick up the fourth kill for his team, but it's a 5-for-4 in favor of Air Esports Revival.
What a Chad play from Economical, going for the backline play, able to take down King Civil, get the shutdown on him, and just keep going for the rest of his team. Without him doing that to the backline, they would have ended up losing the team fight straight up. And props to Dai and Jersum also for lasting as long as they did. Dai on this Kled absolutely doing the work that he needs to do with the remounts, going on and off of Skarl, and doing a good job of baiting the enemy team into thinking, oh yeah, this guy's down. But then he just comes back into the fight again. And there's some extremely good positioning from him in the backline and a perfect use of the Enchanted Crystal Arrow to keep himself alive, keep the CC going, so that Economical and Ryuji can do their work in the backline. So it was really well played from the side of Air Revival. They managed to somehow win an important team fight, and without that, they could have just gotten shut down completely out of the game.
Yeah, these team fights are becoming so difficult to track because I mean you got multiple units
Oh
dashing
no.
across from one end to the other. Now we're gonna have another fight breaking out. Frozen Tomb going to drop economical very low. The shutdown comes through. Yu Dai going to try to turn this one around. The Ryuji going to be near falling. Now it's a double kill for Delilah. Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes in, going to find the stun. Yu Dai going to pick up one kill, but it's 3 for 1 in favor of Omega Gaming Unknown. Now we'll see if they're going to be able to track down Core as well. Baron is on the table, so this could be a situation where the Baron is the target, and it looks like that's going to be the case. Not going to be pinged to be contested anyways from the side of Air Esports Revival. They will go for the mid tier 2 instead.
That was the key moment right there for Omega Gaming Unknown, right? The fact right now, if they can target economical, if they can take this guy down along with Ryuji, those are the two biggest damage threats on the team completely down. Bu is basically running interference against the enemy team against the enemy team at the moment. He can still do damage, but his purpose is to be the front line for his team. The fact that Yasuo and Diana got taken down there at the same time, economical not respecting the amount of CC the enemy team has and just disrespecting it meant that if he get taken down in the mid game, especially later into this game where they can easily take the dragon, they have the Baron, they have the sustain to be able to do it. So
Look
that
at
was a
the
very important pick to lose, and fortunately for Air Revival, the team fight win they had it feels sour right now. It's
yeah,
sour in the
but
mouth.
look at the items. Economical picked up a QSS, so the Frozen Tomb not going to be able to take him out of the next fight. So I'm looking forward. Economical on the flank here, going to be picked off by Demo. It's going to be the claw coming through. Roots as well. Economical is going to use that QSS, but it's not going to get him out alive. Unstoppable for Delilah now on the Xin Zhao. 9, 7, and 4, and this is a 5v4 on the map with the Baron buff. It's going to be a push forward for at least the tier 2 mid. I thinking that the tier 3 is where you got to set up the defense, but Bu Dai isn't even nearby. We'll see if they can set up a 5v3 situation or be able to clear the wave.
I
Looks
think
like
they're just
the
gonna keep
tower is
going.
going to be under fire here. The wave's going to be alive long enough so that it's going to be the inhib tower going down. Oreo Murderer continuing to man the front line here. Eye Patch Mickey as well. And it's just too much to engage on. So it's going to be an inhib going down and trade for maybe a bot tier 2.
Yeah, that's a tier two at least. So they will at least on the side of Air Revival, they've still been faithful in getting as much map control as they can, and that's what's keeping them alive in the gold lead. The fact that they have so much towers that they were able to take down off the back of Yudai split pushing and the ganks coming from Yuji, right?
Mm,
Now, economical, that's twice in a row he got caught now. He can't get caught a third time. If he leaves his team in a 4v5, it's absolutely doomed because he is the main damage dealer right now. He is the main damage threat. Looks like they're gonna set up an ambush though. This might end up being the play that could bring them back.
Yeah, the death brush being set up here. Looks like it's just going to be to take a red buff though. Uh, and now the bot lane being sieged out. One tower going down already. Jersum still on wave clear duty in the mid lane. But
They're
it
just
will
taking down
be
towers. They don't
Drake's.
care.
So it's going to be a trade of Infernal Drake for tier 2. That puts sole point for the side of Air Esports Revival if they can survive for another 5 minutes. But this is going to be another tower under fire. It's the bot lane inhib tower that's going to
You
be
go for the
under
fight.
fire. Now it's going to be a defense being set up. Here comes the Enchanted
Oh,
Crystal.
King Civil!
It hit King Civil. This is the knockups. This is the combo. It's not going to
He's
find any kills.
alive!
Yet though King Civil looking for Johnny Shadow. Finally,
Ah!
Economic are going to be able to pick up the kill. Yu Dai has one as well, and this fight's going to go in favor of Air Esports Revival as they pick up 4 kills, make it a fifth 5-for-0 ace, and the pings are going towards the mid lane.
Oh my gosh, King Civil getting hit with the enchanted crystal arrow was the key, and immediately Core pulled the trigger along with Economical onto the back line. They managed to get the kill, and the team fight was over from there. I said before that it was basically Civil right now against the world with all the damage on the Senna at the moment. The fact that he got taken down means there's no sustain, there's no damage for Omega Gaming, and that's just a heartbreaking moment for them. But they're
How
still alive in this game. It's not over yet.
Wow, how do you leave your Senna open to such an
I
angle
don't
though?
think they
Like
expected it.
that was just
That
from the
was That was the slimmest margin of an enchanted crystal arrow I've ever seen in Runeterra Academy. The fact that Dursa managed to pull that off and get the exact right timing onto King Civil, I don't think even he would have seen that coming. That was that was that was just pinpoint accuracy. If this was CS:GO, I would be calling backban right now onto Dursa.
Well, that's one good fight, and that was enough to stall out the Baron push. But we're going to need to see more good execution like that coming through from Omega or from Air Esports Revival, because Omega Gaming Unknown is about one team fight away from winning the game right now. King Sybil over 80 souls coming through already. Has the range to be able to shoot a tower from outside tower range on the rapid fire cannon auto. So it's going to still be very difficult to approach the enemy squad. Could be 4v4 setup here. It's going to be the last outer of the game going down before we have any fighting, though.
Just to clarify, it's gonna be 175 souls before he outranges tower. So we're still quite a while from getting there. He's just strong because of items at the moment. But so he's still strong, just not gonna be outranging anyone anytime soon.
Oh, yeah, I was just talking about on the rapid fire cannon attack with the extended range from outside tower. But yes, it's
Oh,
true.
that makes it into 150 instead of 175. But still gonna be a while. Ruji, lots of trouble.
Yeah, going to be
Okay.
the siege continuing here in the top lane. Looks like the last tier 2 on the map going to be wiped away here as it's being seeded in order to clear mid waves. Now we got Baron coming up in about 8 seconds, so we'll
They
see if
pinged it.
that's going to be the call.
Yeah, but they pinged it, and Kled is right here too. Might go for an ambush.
Yeah,
Oh,
Bude
they
trying
didn't see him.
to find something. Teleport coming in. It's going to be the blast cone taken away. Now the roots on
Oh,
the front, and Ryuji trying to go in with the moonfall. Enchanted Crystal are going to show up, but Economical has to find his way onto King Civil. Core going to pick up the first kill of the fight. It's a 1-for-1. Economical trying to flash away. Big pulverize coming through, and Jersom picks up the kill onto King Civil. Jersom still at big health bar. Delilah going to try to turn this fight around, going to be able to pick up one. Economical is here though. It's going to be an ace coming through once again. 5-for-2 in favor of Air Esports Revival, and the Baron is right here.
Thor is an absolute MVP for his team at the moment. He kind of messed up in the lane, but the fact that he's able to get that big knock-up onto the backline means that he bought enough time for Economical to do the damage onto the backline. Dursum able to kite out the enemy team. That was extremely huge for them. I can't believe Air Revival actually managed to win out on the 5v5, but they've just been constantly able to get these four-man, three-man combos off onto the right people at the right time, and Economical is just able to clean up again and again. The fact that Jersum's able to stay safe too, the positioning has been stellar throughout this entire mid game. So no complaints with the Ash there. They're able to win out. They're able to get the Baron, and suddenly the table has turned for the side of Air Revival, and it, as I said before in game one, it's their adaptability. It feels like they, as the game progresses, they know exactly how to basically counter what the enemy team wants to do. They're able to read it and counter it exactly. Suddenly, King Civil isn't so much of a threat anymore as long as he just gets taken down into backline immediately. And Core's been able to consistently find his way there. He has a flash now too to be able to get on top of this ADC yet again.
All right, we got the teleport in. This is the Infernal Soul Drake for the side of Air Esports Revival. Now it's going to be a jockeying for positioning right here at the beginning of the fight. King Civil going to try to auto from over the wall. Now it's
Oh,
going to be a Glacial Fissure onto two, but it's
oh,
a big moonfall onto everyone. Ryuji going to be able to pick up the first kill of the fight. Delilah going to try to turn it around. Economical drop pretty low here, but Jersum's putting in the auto attacks, and Core has found one on the back end of the fight as well. King Civil is down. It's a 5-for-1 in
it's
favor of
over.
Air Sports Revival, and they've got the Baron. They're headed towards the base.
What an amazing team fight coming from them. Jersum did miss the Enchanted Crystal Era, but didn't matter. They had enough CC to take down the backline. Economical's too fed on this Yasuo at the moment. Doesn't even have to use his Mercurial Scimitar to be able to win out on that fight. Somehow, after all that trial, after all that tribulation in the early game, again, Air Esports Revival were able to make it back, claw their way back through the team fights, and end up winning the series 2-0. But that was an extremely close series overall.
Yeah, both games really could have gone either way. Omega Gaming Unknown and getting into the base there in game number 2. But it was in the end, Air Esports Revival were able to hold on through all of the times that they were in their own base, and they were able to turn it around, finish off game number two. A big series win, putting them at 3-1, which will get them into the top three so far in the division.
Man, I can't believe it's a 2-0 series, right? But yeah, that was one of the closest 2-0s I've ever seen. There's a lot of hope. I thought after after that early and mid game that we were gonna go straight to game three, but the team fights, it was just completely crushed from Air Revival. They were just able to get on top of King Civil again and again and again, take him down, and at that point, there's nothing that Omega Unknown could do. They had all their eggs into that Senna basket, and it just didn't work out for them.
Yeah, and it was like a different person every time. I mean, like there was one time when it was the Enchanted Crystal Arrow tagging out King Civil that stopped the Baron push. Then they were able to find one where it was a pulverized that landed onto like three members, and King Civil got caught up in it. And like it was just like all five members had opportunities to dive in onto the AD carry, be able to set up the kills, and every time it needed to be a win because if they lost any of those fights, they would be losing like Nexus towers potentially,
I
and
think they would
that
have lost the game if they had lost any of those fights. Honestly, they had their
yeah.
base completely open. If they had lost a single one of those fights in the later portion, it would have been lights out for the side of Air Revival. We would be seeing gameplay. So, really clutch from them to win out on this series overall.
Yeah, and on the other side, we've got Omega Gaming Unknown. They've dropped now to 2-2, so they'll be in a position where they've still got a couple of weeks left to fight to try to stay in the top side of the playoff bracket. But they've got a lot of work to do going forward.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially when it comes to those decision making moments where in game one they didn't do their due diligence and ward their side of the map, even though they had such a big advantage. This time it was the team fighting that did them in. They weren't able to protect the carry. King Civil, despite he was in the back line, but there's no one that could really protect him. Urgot's not gonna do much. Of course, Sinjao was gonna try to push everyone away, but once they get on top of him, there wasn't really much they could do to stop him. So what an amazing series! What an amazing series from Air Supply. They really showed that even though they're down, they're not out.
Yeah. And I just have had the realization that like I was seeing glacial fissures being used offensively there, and like the frozen tombs as well. So like the peel options ended up sometimes being blown to try to set up an engage, which was like their only form of engage. But then once that happened, then King Civil was kind of hung out to dry a little bit. So that was an unfortunate situation. But clearly some things that they can work on. They've got a lot of strong bot lane in the early game, especially. They've got jungle prio to work with as well, and I think that we will be continuing to see Omega Gaming Unknown fighting for a playoff.
Yeah, I'm been looking forward to see how they'll improve in the upcoming weeks as well. There's just shining lights there, especially for King Civil and Oreo Murderer. This golden bot lane that they stumbled upon, they definitely should play towards them a lot more. I'm not sure if Senna is completely the right play. They made it work this game, but I think if they give him like a more hard carry option ADC that can once they get an advantage can really snowball out of control. I think that may be their key going into the next rounds of play. But yeah, so far really good game from both sides. I can't wait to see them both when I'm assuming both of them will probably get into playoffs. That should be it should be a good run from both of them either way.
All right. Well, we had a strong 2-0 today from Air Esports Revival in their victory over Omega Gaming Unknown. I've been Tiger. I've been here with Miles David. Producing for us is Wookie Monster. And thank you to everyone for joining us. Have a good night.